In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on September 24, 2022, and providing you with team picks and total picks for each one of those games. So 2 picks for each game, 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive betting picks to take your sports betting journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer anywhere from 1 betting pick a day up to 10 betting picks a day and much more. Now let's get started. TCU versus SMU. It's a non-conference battle on the gridiron between a pair of teams from the Lone Star State when a member of the Big 12 takes on a program from the American Athletics Conference. The TCU Horned Frogs are on the road as they make the in-state trek to face the SMU Mustangs as Sonny Dykes returns to face his former employer. TCU was off last week and rolled to an easy 59-17 home win over FCS program Tarleton in their previous contest September 10th. SMU battled but ended up falling short, losing 34-27 on the road against Maryland. In the all-time series between the teams, the Horned Frogs own a 50-41-7 advantage, though SMU has won the last 2 meetings. That includes a 42-34 victory on the road in the most recent meeting on September 25, 2021. The Horned Frogs are 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 road games and 4-9-1 against the spread in their last 14 games overall. The Mustangs are 9-3 against the spread in their last 12 home games and 1-4 against the spread in their last 5 games overall. The over is 5-2 in Horned Frogs' last 7 road games. The under is 4-1 in Mustangs' last 5 games overall. The road team is 7-0 against the spread in their last 7 meetings. The SMU Mustangs will host in-state rival TCU on Saturday afternoon for a non-conference clash before the teams enter conference season. SMU fell just short of a win over a Big Ten team in Maryland with a 34-27 loss last week, but had many positives to take away from the game. They outgained the Terrapins by 81 yards, including 369 yards from star quarterback Tanner Mordecai. The Terps outscored the Mustangs 14-0 in the final frame and escaped with a home victory. While it was a game that SMU could have easily come away with a win in, they did show me many positives for the remainder of their season. Mordecai, a former Oklahoma Sooner, threw for 39 touchdowns last season with a 67.8% completion rate and 3,628 yards for the Mustangs, and has over 1,000 yards and 10 scores already this season. The SMU skilled position group did lose some key contributors from last season's team, but Rashee Rice has assumed the role of Superman in this offense with 28 catches for a nation-leading 491 yards and 3 touchdowns already this season. The 6'2" playmaker keeps the defense honest when loading the box and allows their 3-headed backfield to run free. The Mustangs have a well-balanced defense that is capable of moving the ball on anyone and racking up points when they are disciplined. TCU has played a lowly Colorado program and Tarleton State to begin their season, winning each game by a comfortable final margin. While the Colorado game ended with a 38-13 final score, TCU was only ahead by 1 point at halftime, and the Buffalo is truly one of the worst Power 5 schools in America this year. TCU has started different quarterbacks in both games, with last year's starter Max Duggan playing the majority of the snaps last week, and last year's star running back Zach Evans is now at Ole Miss. New Horned Frogs coach Sonny Dykes was the head coach of SMU last season and, as a result, has more insight on the team than other opposing coaches the Mustangs will face. That is the main worry when backing SMU as he takes over for Gary Patterson, who seemed to allow the program to run dry and will look to make a statement against his former team in his first real competition as the head man of TCU. Both teams have made a change in the head coaching position, and while I do think TCU is moving in the right direction under Sonny Dykes, the passing-oriented mind of Red Lashley seems to have invigorated this SMU program, and I am higher on their team overall. The Mustangs were 8-4 last season despite a disappointing end to the year, while TCU was 5-7 with 3 of their wins by 3 or fewer points. SMU has won each of the last 2 matchups in this series, both in high-scoring affairs, including last year's game that they won by 8 points despite losing the turnover battle by 3. With TCU having a home game against highly ranked Oklahoma on deck and SMU having their home crowd behind them, I look for the Mustangs to end non-conference play with a W, so the SMU Mustangs money line is our full game side pick. SMU averaged the 9th most points per game offensively last season at 36.8 per contest. and have averaged 40 through their first 3 games to begin this season. They returned their leading rusher from last season in Tree Siggers, as well as sophomore T.J. McDaniel and Kansas transfer Velton Gardner. That trio has combined for 418 rushing yards on 5.8 yards per carry in the first 3 games and provides their offense with balance. I mentioned Rashee Rice during the section on the side, but he is a true difference maker on the outside and provides Mordecai with a downfield threat that opens up this offense. He has recorded at least 132 receiving yards in each of the first 3 games this season, and the TCU secondary has been untested to this point in the season. Last year, the Horned Frogs ranked 120th in scoring defense of 130 schools as they allowed 37.8 points per game. They ranked 125th in yards allowed per pass attempt and 97th in passing yards allowed per game. I expect SMU's offense to fly up and down their home field and be more efficient with their opportunities than they were a week ago against a tougher defense. TCU seems to be rolling with Max Duggan, who did lead the offense to 34 points scored in their matchup with the Mustangs last season. I am not very high on him overall, but he does provide the offense with dual threat capabilities, as he can make plays with his legs as well. Last season, SMU ranked 110th in pass yards allowed per attempt and 125th in pass yards allowed per game, so their defense is by no means invincible. Last week, Maryland scored 34 points despite 15 penalties stalling drives. SMU allowed over 30 points per game last season in their own right, and 3 of these teams' last 4 matchups have seen 76 or more points scored. Mordecai is a tremendous talent, but does take risks that can lead to turnovers or large chunk plays. Essentially, he is a perfect quarterback to have in a game where you need points, and I expect another high-scoring battle between these 2 Texas schools on Saturday. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. Baylor versus Iowa State. The Iowa State Cyclones play host to the Baylor Bears on Saturday afternoon from Jack Trice Stadium in the Big 12 opener for both sides. As the reigning conference champs, the Bears are looking to pick up where they left off last season, while the Cyclones bring their own unblemished 2022 record into things. Last year, Baylor came away with a 2-point win in one of the best games of the Big 12 season, while the Bears have won 6 of the last 10 meetings overall. Going on the road in conference play is never easy though, while the Cyclones will want to avenge last season's defeat. The Bears are 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 overall and 19-7 against the spread versus a team with a winning record. Baylor is 5-2 against the spread in their last 7 conference games. Meanwhile, the Cyclones are 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 after a straight-up win and 1-4 against the spread versus a team with a winning record. Iowa State is 3-7 against the spread in their last 10 in September. The Cyclones opened the week as a minus 2.5 favorite. There are a couple of reasons for this line. One reason is that Iowa State is a difficult place to play. While we do not think of Iowa State as a traditional football power, their fans turn out in force, and nearly every road team finds it difficult to escape with a win. The other reason is that Baylor recently struggled in a difficult road venue at Brigham Young University. When you figure that home field advantage is usually worth a field goal to oddsmakers, this line says that these 2 teams are more or less even. Baylor has struggled in the early part of the season to get their passing game going, but the Bears are running the ball effectively behind a veteran offensive line. The passing game lacks playmakers on the outside, but the Bears have started finding other ways to keep their playbook balanced. On the defensive side, the Baylor defense is still one of the better defenses in the conference, but they have failed to force as many turnovers as they did last season. Iowa State is off to a 3-0 start, and it is not by accident. After losing quarterback Brock Purdy and tailback Breece Hall to the NFL, the Cyclones have turned to new faces with some success already this season. Hunter Deckers is a strong-armed passer with a star receiver to throw to in Xavier Hutchinson, and running back Jairo Brock has been over 100 yards twice already this fall. The calling card of this team, though, is still the defense. Iowa State is young but talented. They have every reason to be confident heading into this game at home. Baylor, the more veteran team, has already been tested on the road this season and should come in prepared. While Iowa State is an emerging team that will give people fits this season in the Big 12, I believe Baylor is still the more complete team at this point in the year. I also believe that Baylor wins this game in a close one, so the Baylor Bears money line is our full game side pick. Baylor's defense has shown to be elite this season, while Iowa State hasn't allowed more than 10 points in any of their 3 games, including one of those being against a Power 5 opponent. Additionally, according to Covers.com, for Baylor, the under is 4-0 in their last 4 games following an against the spread win, is 4-0 in their last 4 conference games, and is 4-0 in their last 4 road games. For the Cyclones, the under is 6-0 in their last 6 home games against a team with a winning road record. This will be one of the lowest scoring games of the Big 12 season, and considering the desire for both teams to establish themselves on the ground, a running clock will lead to limiting possessions and scores in this one. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Central Michigan versus Penn State. The Central Michigan Chippewas and the Penn State Nittany Lions meet Saturday in college football action from Beaver Stadium. Central Michigan played Bucknell in their last outing. In that matchup, the Chippewas posted a huge shutout win. As for Penn State, they're coming off a game versus Auburn. The Nittany Lions ended up taking a blowout victory as well. The Chippewas are 4-0 against the spread in their last 4 after a straight-up win, and 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 road games. Central Michigan is 1-3-1 against the spread in their last 5 in September. Meanwhile, the Lions are 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 versus the Mid-American Conference and 14-6 against the spread in their last 20 overall. Penn State is 13-5-1 against the spread in their last 19 non-conference games. The Nittany Lions got some big plays out of their defense in the Auburn game, coming up with 4 turnovers and holding the Tigers to just 5 of 15 on 3rd downs. Penn State posted 477 total yards with 0 turnovers on the offensive side in a solid all-around effort. As for Central Michigan, they did exactly what they were supposed to do versus an overmatched Bucknell team on Saturday, cruising to 529 total yards and 29 first downs. Needless to say, this matchup will be significantly more difficult though. Expect another 50-plus yard run from the flashy freshman. Central Michigan's -1 turnover ratio will also come back to haunt them against an opportunistic Penn State defense that has already forced 5 turnovers this season. So the Penn State Nittany Lions to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. The Nittany Lions have the firepower to pass this total themselves if they commit to running up the score. They are averaging over 42 points per game on the season and have scored 87 points in the last 2 weeks. Clifford will likely be out of this game by the second half, but that just means reps for the quarterback of the future, Drew Aller. Aller is the most highly touted quarterback to enter Penn State in years. He will come in and certainly have his way with the vulnerable Central Michigan secondary. Expect the Nittany Lions to pass the century mark in scoring in this game. With the number 14 ranking, Penn State will look to put on a good show to move up the rankings and put themselves in playoff position down the stretch. Over the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.